I've tanked every one of the 4 leveling dungeons in Dragonflight, and today I'd like to offer my casual and beginner tanks recently joining or returning to WoW my spoiler-free thoughts on the Ruby Life Pools, the very first dungeon, key pointers and what to look out for. If you like this content and want more of it, please give me a quick like and subscribe for more. I release videos every week. Ruby Life Pools is the very first easy and quick dungeon to try in Dragonflight, and a very safe place to learn tanking, healing, or pick your nose while face rolling on the keyboard, or whatever it is that you DPS folk do. I'm kidding. It's also a very quick dungeon, and one other thing to say about Ruby Life Pools is that after Shadowlands, this first dungeon is a breath of fresh air visually, which is very important to anyone who treats the game as a game rather than as a job. It's gorgeous, color scheme is fantastic, and I personally really enjoyed running it personally. I just feel good in it. Yeah, it's life pools after all. First time you come in, it might seem, at least up front, feel like it's a little packed with trash, but it only feels that way because you might right now not have seen the other dungeons yet. LOL. Just you wait, my friends. And by the way, this is where I encourage you to kind of check out my other videos, because I'm reviewing all of the dungeons. I'll talk to you about all of the other dungeons in case this is the very first video that you're watching from me. The path to the first boss is short and rather straightforward. I would just stick to the right hand side always, because as the path turns, kind of veers right a little bit, and try and avoid as many mobs as possible. This is kind of basic advice. The first boss herself is doing something nasty to Ruby Whelps, obviously, as you tank her in the middle of the room, and she periodically will kind of go or charge to the dragon eggs on the side of the room and spawn some whelps that you need to get a quick aggro on. Of course, it doesn't massively matter in normal difficulty, as everything dies rather quickly in this very first dungeon, but I imagine that in Mythic Plus, especially higher keys, as long as this dungeon is included in that rotation, I'm pretty sure it would be, this will matter, as if unattended, those whelps will probably swarm your healer or DPS who are standing there waiting for you to do most damage while they pick their noses. Once you're done with the first boss, you will fly up to the top of the Ruby Life Shrine, and this is where the things will get a little more intense, with a lot of fire AoE. Basically, being your main worry and making your healer pop their hot pills now and then. You will go in a circle, basically, clearing elemental controlled checkpoints, let's call them, and dealing with a lot of not very challenging but plentiful trash, as long as you kinda can keep an eye on that fire AoE in check and under control. Once you have cleared the circle, the boss, the primalist boss, Firehoof something, activates, and you kill her with not that much of an issue, as long as you focus her and not stand in the obviously in the fire going off everywhere. I can't imagine you having any particular issues. She also spawns some ads, and I think that in the normal difficulty, at least right now, at like level 61, 62, when you're doing this dungeon, you can just burst down the boss, not ignoring the ads really, but also not worrying about them too much. But I always recommend that if the boss by design spawns ads, it means that in the higher difficulties, Blizzard designed it in such a way that they will become a problem, which is why you need to focus and kill them ASAP. After the second boss is down, there is a very short, kind of straightforward path to the final boss landing kind of area. If you want to follow my path, which you don't have to, I tend to go around, kind of around the circle, that semicircle, and I stick to the left path, but that doesn't seem to matter too much, because at best you maybe skip only one group, one extra group, kind of there close to that little bridge leading to the final area, but before you can attack the boss, you have to clear all the groups around him. He will not be activated. The final boss is a troll on a dragon at first, and you tank basically himself and the dragon once the dragon activates, with the dragon probably being most of your attention, I would say, where you need to face the dragon try and guess it the other way from your group, because there is a probably potentially powerful fire AoE, which you can't fully ignore, I guess, in normal, but it will only become an issue in the higher Mythic Plus keys, where that probably will wipe your group if they're standing right in front of the dragon's mouth. This is a basic dungeon that teaches new tanks and heals how to deal with dragons, in my opinion, or at least that's how I'm interpreting its basic design. They're trying to teach you to turn the dragon sideways to your group, so that they are not swept away by the tail if they're at the back, and they're not standing in front of the mouth of the dragon. That's kind of tanking 101 and a rule of thumb that you will learn here unless you have learned it elsewhere. All in all, Ruby Life Pools is an enjoyable and rather chill, very quick, early dungeon that shouldn't cause any issues unless your group is not dealing with the fire AoE mobs, especially around second boss. It's an okay dungeon, good dungeon. That is a breath of fresh air for sure, following what feels like a very long drag of Shadowlands. I hope you've enjoyed this little guide and it helps you take your tanking to the next level. Like the video so that I know that I'm doing something right and that you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more videos from me. I will talk to you next time.